So at the beginning of the school year, we talk to our students about three realities that often mark students' experience of learning a language like Hebrew. And that's shame, anxiety, and failure. And that those experiences, especially in a kind of classroom environment that's so public and performance-oriented, where we're calling students out, and they're answering questions or doing things in front of all of their peers, and it's very obvious if they understand or don't. We have to, at the beginning of the school year, give them all kinds of permission to experience failure. And we invite them to reflect on when an experience of what they perceive as failure activates a shame story in them. And the experience of shame and anxiety often undermine a student's ability to learn. And when a classroom environment is characterized by those energies, the learning is stifled. And our primary objective is our students' learning. And so we invite them to listen to that shame story, but we also try to redefine failure for them. That when you learn a language, failure is an essential process, an essential step in the learning process. That if you don't fail, you're not learning. So failure in a classroom, like making mistakes, getting something wrong, is not actually failure. It's a part of the learning process. Sure. So we have to redefine that for them. So one of the things that we do is we invite them on the first day of class to imagine right outside the classroom that there's an imaginary coat rack. And that every day when they walk through the classroom, we invite them to just imagine taking off the cloak of their need to get it right the first time. Their need to be perfect. Their need to understand everything. Their need to be seen as mature and competent. And to just take that off and hang it up. And take their shame along with that, right? Just to hang even to some extent, their maturity, because you have to be like a child in this classroom, but their pride, to just take all of that off and hang it up and come in here with a sense of open-heartedness and a willingness to play, because play is a very critical part of learning. And also a willingness to be vulnerable. Because vulnerability is also a very important part of the learning process.
I can see you're vulnerable too. You're vulnerable to them.
Yeah, exactly. As a professor, I need to model that vulnerability.
You did.
I need to model a willingness to play, but also an ability to get it wrong, to be wrong myself, and that gives them permission to get it wrong, because we're all learning together. I'm still learning all sorts of things about Hebrew all the time. I've been teaching this for 15 years. So that's a really important part of kind of establishing a classroom ethos, a shared commitment to each other's learning and our own learning that we talk about on the first day of class every year.